Okay, so this is the question you're given. Start with question number 1. It was reading, you are given the following data concerning the production costs and the average revenue of a profit maximizing firm that produces good X. And the fixed cost of production is set at 100 quarter. So the question required you to do the following. To calculate using the table above the total variable cost, the total cost, the marginal cost, the marginal revenue, and the profit at each level of output, right? So we are encouraged to insert some columns. Yeah, that's what we were expected of doing. And so we need to find the variable costs, the total variable costs, and then you find the total cost. So let me start by doing this. Let's put first the total fixed costs, and this is average variable cost. Then we can put total variable costs, and we can also put total costs. The column for total costs, that is too big. It's too big a column. Total costs, and then we can put a column for marginal cost, right? And we can still put the column for we have average revenue. Then we can find a total revenue for us to find marginal revenue, because you can't find marginal revenue before you find total revenue. So let's find total revenue, and we can have the column for marginal revenue. Then we can have the column for the profit or loss, right? That's all I want us to do. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
And you are told that the fixed cost is stood at 100, right? So it simply means that it was 100, another 100, again 100, and 100. So the fixed cost was standing here at the fixed cost at 100 kwacha. Is that clear? So it's just 100 throughout. Does that make sense?
Yes, Pastor, it does.
So we need to find the total variable cost now. How can we find the total variable cost given the average variable cost? Just know that to find the average variable cost, you have to say what? What's the formula to find the average variable cost?
Average, we are supposed to calculate total variable cost divided by what? The output.
Total variable cost over output. So what you're doing is to make total variable cost the subject of the formula, isn't it? You are given the average variable cost you have, and you're also given the output this side. So you are making total variable cost the subject of the formula by doing what? By crossing multiplying, isn't it?
Yes, Pastor.
You cross multiply to get the total variable cost. So in short, you're just multiplying output times what? Times the average variable cost. That should give you the total variable cost. Any question? Is there any question? There is no question. Then we can go to the total variable costs for the first unit. So it's 1 times 110, it should give us 110, right?
Yes,
You have your
sir.
calculator, 2 times 95 is output times average variable cost. So 2 times 95, what do you get?
$190.
190. Then 3 times 80. Three times 80.
240.
240, thank you. Then the following one should be 300, yeah? Four times 75. And what is 5 times 82?
$410.
410.
410.
410. And 6 times 85.
It's 510.
510. And 7 times 90.
Uh,
Is it 630?
yes, sir.
630. And 9 times 9, 110.
800.
Okay. Then 9 times 110.
990.
990. And this should be 1,200. Is that clear? Anyone with a question? Is there any question? There is no question, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then what is the total cost? You just add the total fixed cost plus total variable costs.
Yes,
So
sir.
for the first one, it will be 210. What is the 100 plus 190? Should be 290, right? And this will be 340. This should be 400. Should be 510. And the 610. 730. Then this one should be 900. So that this one can be what? 1,000. What is 990 plus 100?
Sasha.
What is the
Hello?
answer? Yes, what's the answer?
What's it's 990?
Yes, plus 100.
1090 quad 90, sorry.
Okay, 1090. Okay, and this will be what? 1200. This will be 13, right?
Yes.
Any question? Was this difficult? No, sir, it wasn't. And the marginal cost, you know how we find it, right? Is total change in total costs? Change in total cost over change in what? In output, right? So the marginal costs and the total cost, they are equal at the first unit to 10. Then you have 290 minus what? 290 minus 210 over 2 minus 1. What do you find? Find the 8 here.
Yeah.
And 340 minus 90.
250.
340 minus 290. 340
50.
minus 2, it is 50. And the 400 minus 340, it should be 60, right?
Yeah. Yes.
510 minus 400 should be 110, right?
Yes. Sir.
So that 610 minus 510 should be 100. And the 730 minus 610.
120.
120. 900 minus 730.
170.
170. And 1090 minus 900.
190.
190. 1300 minus 1090.
210.
210. So any question? Exams made easier.
Yes, sir.
Very easy. These are the things that you do every day. Okay, now we can go to the total revenue. Since we are given average revenue, how can you find total revenue given average revenue?
By
Total
multiplying
revenue.
average revenue. By multiplying average revenue by outputs.
Okay, so average revenue equal to the total revenue over output. So we want total revenue, so you multiply average revenue by output. So therefore, the total revenue here shall be 1 being the output times 300 being the average revenue, should get 300. Is that clear?
It's clear.
And then you have 2 times 250, that should give us 500, yeah? And 3 times 210 is what? 3 times 210? What is 3 times 210?
Me, I'm being locked out, sir. I don't know why.
I don't know why as well. I think it should be the network. So what is 210 times 3? Hello?
I'm away from my calculator, me, sir.
Tasha, what's 210 times 3?
She's on the phone.
She's on a phone call. Wow. That is, you should be coming with calculators, guys, for class. So 3 times 210 is 630. So 180 times 4? 720. And so 150 times 5?
750.
750, thank you. So that 120 times 6 can be how much?
720.
720. And the 7 times 100 should be 700. So that the 90 times 8.
720.
90 times 8 is 720.
Yes.
And 80 times 9.
720.
720 again. And the 70 times 10 should be 700. Is that clear? Any question? Is there any question? Okay, we talk about marginal revenue now. So at the first unit, marginal revenue is equal to the total revenue. So then to find marginal revenue, you say what? Change in total revenue over change in output. So you shall say 500 minus 300 divided by 2. It should give us 200, yeah?
Yes.
630 minus 500 should be 130. And the 720 minus 630, how much is it?
90.
It is 90. So that 750 minus 720 can be what? Can be 30. And 720 minus 50 minus 750 can be negative 30 again. Let me try this. 5 times 150. Guys, 750. Right, it's okay. So 700 minus that minus 720 is what? It's negative 20, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello. And 720 minus 700 to give us 20. So that that and that can give us 0. And then the other one can give us 700 minus 720 should be negative what? Negative 20 again. Clear?
Clear.
Okay, now to find the profit. How do you find the profit? It's very easy, right? What did I say about profit? Profit is
It's
equal to,
total revenue minus total cost.
yes, profit shall equal total revenue minus total costs. As simple as that. So total revenue minus total cost. So 300 minus 210 should give us what? 90, right?
Yes, sir.
And 500 minus 290.
210.
210. And 630 minus 340.
290.
290. And you say 720 minus 400.
320.
320. So that 750 minus 510. Can be
240.
what? 240. And 720 minus 610.
110.
110. 700 minus 730. I say a loss, right?
Yes.
Negative 30. And the 720 minus 900. It's another loss of how much?
$180.
180. And the 720 minus 1090. It's another loss.
$370. Negative 370.
370 loss. And 700 minus 1300.
Negative 600.
Negative 600, or a loss of 600. Is there any question from anyone? Anyone to ask questions? Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So we need to determine the profit maximizing level of output. Determine the profit maximizing level of output. What did you do? What was your profit maximizing level of output? Hello?
We had to identify the figures. I've forgotten, Tasha. What did you do? What did we do?
They have forgotten what we did though.
Okay, what can you do now? It is here.
I think B, I didn't even answer sir this one.
Okay. So what level of output will maximize profit? At least everything has been put here. It's just to pick. Just get. Why is there silence in the land? All right. And now you can see that beyond the 6 units, right? Beyond the 6 units, what happens to the profit? It becomes negatives, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It becomes a loss. So you cannot exceed the 6 units in terms of production, because if you exceed 6 units, then you lose the economies of scale, and then you start maximizing a loss. Ni one market up. That's why there is no need of suffering. Okay. Calculate the smallest rise in total variable cost that would force the firm
Which
to
point,
see.
Sir, sorry. Which
Mhm.
point did you choose?
The point at which profit is positive. The junction in between.
Between 6 and 5.
Not between 6 and 5. Beyond the 6, the profit becomes negative, right? You start maximizing losses. You can only maximize profit before like up to 6 units. That's when you can
No.
maximize profit. Beyond which you maximize losses.
Okay.
What is the smallest rise in total variable costs? That should force the firm to cease production in the short run.
So here, I think I got 240 minus 90, which was 50. That was the smallest rise.
Let me come again.
I got 240 minus 90, which gave us 50.
You got 400 minus
240
440
minus 190.
minus 190. Where are you getting these figures?
Sorry?
Where did the figures come from?
From the total variable cost here.
So the total variable cost there is 440. Did you say 440? What figures did you mention again?
240.
Or 240, not 440. You said 240?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 240 minus 190. Why did you choose 240?
I don't know how to explain it, sir.
There is no.
If you go from 110, this is how I did it. If you go from 110 to 190, there's about 80. If you go from 190 to 240, there's 50. If you go from 240 to 300, there's 60. From 300 to 410, there's about 40. So from 190 to 240, that's why there was 50. So
Okay.
I thought that was the smallest rise.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Do we have any other suggestion?
It's correct what she has said, sir.
It is correct. Did you say it is correct? What did I hear?
It is correct. She's correct.
Okay.
Vivian, when Sir says it's interesting, I mean it's wrong.
No. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So when does the firm shut down in the short run? When should the firm shut down? That is to cease production, of course. So when should a firm
When
shut down?
the firm can shut down, sir, when the total revenue is less than the total cost.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Oh.
Okay, when there's a
Okay, when does it break even? When does the firm break even?
So that's a different question. Anyway, I wanted to answer the first one. Say when revenue is unable to cover the total costs.
Yeah, when revenues are unable to cover the total costs. Okay. It was indeed a very good conversation that you had. Anyway,
What's come again? I was locked out again.
I have not yet said anything. Okay, so the firm will always shut down. Will always, let me start from breaking even. What do you understand by breaking even, first of all? Hello? What do you understand by breaking even? Okay, so yes.
Breaking even is when the profit and costs are equal, are meeting at the same point, when profits and costs in a business.
Okay. All right. Okay. So whenever they get it, the break-even point is any point when the average cost is just when the average revenue, which is the price, is just below the average variable costs, right? When there is the total variable costs. Sorry, the break even is when the average variable costs, you break even when the revenue, the average revenue is just below the average of the total variable costs. Yes, the total variable costs. And then you shut down, right? When the the revenue, which is the price, the average revenue specific, is just below the AVC, the average variable costs. Remember those lines that you did under monopoly? They were like, how are they moving? It was like marginal costs. Then you used to have this costs, number one, average costs, which is the total average costs. And then from there is the average variable costs. Okay. So whenever the revenue, the average revenue is below the average costs, then a firm can shut down. But below average variable costs, a firm shuts down, ceases production. So we are asking for the value, a small rise in total variable costs that would force a firm to stop the production. Which one is which? How much is a small rise in total variable costs? You know, you had calculated, but the explanation you had given, the explanation you gave was not satisfying. Right. But anyways.
But so, the calculations are right?
Yes, you are calculating, you are guessing actually. That was a guess. Don't guess, okay? Yeah, I understand. What is the difference between the short run and long run?
What the best explanation on this one, in case we're asked in the exam?
Or you wanted an explanation. Now that was because the total variable cost should at least its total variable cost should be a smallest change. Otherwise, it should have the smallest possible change, so that you can have what? So that the firm can cease production. If the variable cost, the total variable cost rise big enough, then it becomes like this. You remember, the curve moves like this. I said last time that these are U-shaped curves, right? The minimum possible change, right? The minimum possible change is the minimum point. So we are minimizing the, what should I say? We are minimizing the total variable costs, the change. So we're looking for the slope where it is minimum. That is where the shutdown point is, okay? The shutdown point is here, down here. So we are looking for the minimum possible change. That's the minimum possible change that we are looking for. Not the maximum. You need the minimum possible change, because at the minimum possible change, it means the total variable cost, the slope has been minimized, like this one. The gradient has been minimized. That's a point where you can find the shutdown point. So we are seeking to minimize what? The total variable costs. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between the short run and the long run periods of production?
The difference is just the fixed, in the short run, the fixed cost, whereas in the long run, there are no fixed costs, they're all variable costs. They're only variable costs.
Okay. That's interesting. Do we have any other suggestion?
Very wrong.
I'm listening. Okay. So basically what is there is that in the short run, you have at least one factor of production fixed, okay? At least one factor of production is fixed in the short run. It is a factor of production that we are talking about, an input. At least one input is fixed. Then in the long run, all the inputs are variable, okay? All the inputs are variable. They are not fixed in the long run. But in the short run, at least one, meaning we can have one or more. Oh, you said costs. I want you to be using the words categorically because we want you to be particular in the way how you use the words. You say that they are fixed costs, but we are not talking about cost here. We are talking about the inputs, the factor inputs, not the cost. So at least one factor input, an input or a factor of production is not same as a cost, right? You get that one?
No, come again, sir.
You said in the short run, there are fixed factors of production, right? In the long run, they are variable. Then we are not talking about, you said you didn't say factors of production, you use costs. So we are not talking about costs when it comes to these periods. We are talking about the factors of production, not the costs, okay? So in the short run, at least one input or one factor of production is fixed. Whereas in the long run, all factors of production or all inputs are variable. Did you get the point?
Yes, sir. I'm clear now.
So the key thing, the way how you are using the words, you really need to be so particular and be categorical so that you, sometimes so that you know, just be careful in the way how we use these words, because as we interpret what you have written, can't you meant something else? Understand?